大丈夫なんですね。Chris? Please unmute yourself. Thank you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Chris Davey, Treasurer of Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation of New York. This is Heiwa's 33rd annual New York Interfaith Peace Gathering. On Wednesday, we commemorated those lost in the Hiroshima bombing. Tonight, we come together once again to remember the victims of the Nagasaki atomic bombing. Thank you so much for joining. And now, please let me introduce Reverend T.K. Nakagaki, President of the Heiwa Foundation.
Okay. Hi. Thank you. Good morning and then good afternoon. Good evening, whoever you're watching. My name is Reverend Dr. T.K. Nakagaki. I'm the President of the Buddhist Council of New York, past President of Buddhist Council of New York, but also currently President of Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation of New York. And so I'd like to welcome all of you. And let me see, just 1 second. Let me spotlight myself. Thank you. So today we are observing the Nagasaki Day, and we did, as the Chris mentioned, the Hiroshima Day on August 6 in Japan, August 5 in the US, and here today, August 9th already in Japan, and the 8th in the USA. But then the one thing for me would like to share is the where we always begin. Today, this part of the gathering is especially commemoration. So this Hiroshima Day, Nagasaki Day all started with the atomic bomb experience. And so many people were killed. And so the sense of, the, what do you call it, the value of the life, preciousness of life. So those are something that I feel very important. And so when we start anything, you wanted to have a base to start. And for me, this commemoration is the base to think of peace and to do all activities that we're going to do. And so if maybe, the more people, interested in all the actions parts and so forth, but yet we always have the place that where we're going to start. And then this is the most important, place that we need to begin, that I feel. And so I hope through this memorial service, you will really understand what happened under the cloud or atomic bomb, and also I want you to feel yourself to how you create your peace, maybe what you can do to contribute to the peace, and then how you see the life, the value of life. And so those are all connected to the creating peace. So I thank you very much for joining today. And so we begin with the short silent meditation, and it will be followed by the interfaith prayer. Please join me in Gassho. Place your palms together. So this bell is for ourselves, to bring peace to your mind, to your heart, and also thinking this peace we would like to share with others. Thank you.
Many interfaith leaders have kindly joined us tonight, and they will each give a few words, starting with representing Judaism. Peter Regina from Peace Lights is here to give us a little message. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and namaste. It's a real honor tonight to offer a reflection from the Jewish tradition. I'm not a rabbi or even a Jew, but I am a person who, through the journey, especially the journey of the last 10 or so years in the interfaith circles, have come to believe deeply that there is a spiritual responsibility that we all share for one another. I was raised Roman Catholic, so the first half of the Bible is the Old Testament. That's the Torah anyway. And I do have a lot of family who's Jewish as well. So as I was looking for something, I came across something at the end of the Torah that was when there was uncertain times. The Israelites were just getting to the end of their journey. And it was kind of a summary that Moses reiterates a lot of the laws and a lot of the covenants to everybody. He tells them, I have placed before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life so that you and your descendants may live. And that seems especially meaningful as we commemorate Nagasaki and Hiroshima. There's three parts to that saying. First part recognizes our powers to choose. And, I have placed before you life and death, blessing and curse. And all those choices, creation and destruction, compassion and indifference are relevant. And the atomic bombing certainly, more so than anything else in the history of mankind, demonstrate how consequential those choices are at times. Second one is choose life. And I always look at that as more than just kind of a hope, more than, and it only applies when life or death is in the air. No, not so. I believe that the choose life is more than expression of hope. It lets us consider everything about our lives, all the choices, our decisions, our governments, our technologies, our words, everything is something that we can choose, and we should always choose the life sort of way. And finally, the quote talks about the next generation, and so your descendants may live, and that is key, because from a Jewish perspective, the youth are a living linkage between everything and sacred in that. So let me conclude with a blessing from the Torah. May the Eternal bless and protect you. May the Eternal shine graciously upon you. May the Eternal turn towards you and grant you peace. Thank you very much. Shalom and namaste.
Thank you, Peter.
Would you like?
Next, we'll hear from Guru Dilip Ji from the World Yoga Community. Welcome.
Namaste everyone. Yes. I was running a little late. Anyway, so Bhuvasva Savidurim Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat Om Rembagam Najamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarivima Vandana Murtyo Mukshayamamaga Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I was talking to my friends, the UN committees. It's very upsetting last 2 months because all the crisis going on, and we already had troubles with nuclear power. Still, we don't learn it. Very upsetting for me. We tried to bring a lot of gathering like this, interfaith events, peace events. Still, some people pretend they are sleeping. When people are really sleeping, easy to wake them up. When they are pretending, very hard to do things. So we need very active, peaceful movement to educate and wake our leaders, because we are spending so much money and time for this unnecessary chaos. So I'll request all of you, just gather every month or every week, promote peaceful activities, right and left. Otherwise, we don't know. Next year, we all will be alive. That's the way the world is moving now. I hope all the religious groups or spiritual groups come together. Just forget about all the differences what we have. We have to focus on the peaceful life for us and for the next generation. And we need a space for all the animals and plants, all the kingdoms. We just became greedy every single day. We only think about dollar or yuan or any other currencies rather than we have a beautiful life to flourish and sustain and make a social development for everyone, not only for one group of people. So where we are standing now, it is very shameful for showing the leaders how they ignore, neglect, abuse us. So we need a solid plan for the future. And now TK and all other groups from Heva Foundation putting this hard work to on and for every year. I always support you guys. Thank you. We'll do better every time. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll hear from Venerable Sagarananda Tien of Amata Meditation Center, representing Buddhism.
It seems like his things disappear somehow. He was there right for a while.
Could everybody mute themselves, please? Okay, I don't know where. Oh, here he is. Oh, no. I don't know where Sagarananda went to, so where should we go, TK?
We'll play one music. This is actually music, the shrine. at the Shinto shrine, and just kind of a Shinto is not representing here, but then this particular music by young youth from the Nagasaki, she played actually the violin, which was survived in the Holocaust, and then the World War II kind of connected to the Holocaust, and then the Hiroshima things, all this two Holocausts in a way together, and so she's playing that music. できますかね? So maybe this is a good, maybe like a prayer for the Shinto shrine from from Japan. Can you hear? Can you hear the music?
A little low.
Low? So what happens now? I don't know.
Okay, there's something.
Chloe is back.
Yeah, I see we're joined by Chloe Breyer, representing Christianity. Reverend Dr. Chloe Breyer is with the Interfaith Center of New York, and she'll give us a few words. Thank you.
We can't hear you. Sorry. Can you hear?
We are muted.
Unmute, please.
Great. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Yes, so my name is the Reverend Chloe Breyer. I'm Executive Director at the Interfaith Center of New York, and I had the honor of attending the pilgrimage to Japan last year with Reverend T.K. Nagasaki and many other community and faith leaders from New York and the United States for the 80th anniversary of the U.S. Bombing attacks of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And one of the things that I recall when I got to Nagasaki was the surprise that I had in learning that Nagasaki had been, at the time of the bombing, one of the largest places of gatherings of Christians across Japan, and that many had been worshiping at the cathedral, which was near the epicenter of the bomb when it dropped. And according to the Bishop of Nagasaki, who we met while we were there, that many thousands of Christians had been killed along with so many others in that tragic and catastrophic day. In addition to the physical horror and the death, family separation and unspeakable wounds that had occurred to individuals and communities, the question arose of how did people make spiritual sense of such a catastrophe? How, as human beings, whether we are Christian or of other faith traditions or no faith at all, we do need meaning in our lives as much as we need bread or the air that we breathe. So when this happened 81 years ago, how did the people of Nagasaki and especially those in the Christian communities begin to make sense of what was happening or what happened to them? So when a great hero of that community helped survivors and those who had been dying and died himself at a young age of radiation sickness, when he began writing that there had been a divine purpose in what had happened, and that somehow the Christians of Nagasaki were a sacrifice or an offering to God that had then resulted in the ending of World War II, it was tempting, I think, for many people to believe him. Part of us, all of us, want to believe that there is an all-good, all-knowing, and all-powerful God who is constantly watching over us. I had a revelatory moment on that trip when my friends from the community of San Egidio, who are also in Nagasaki last year and are currently also holding a 75-hour prayer vigil in Japan and New York as we speak, they told me that it was not until 1981 when Pope John Paul II made his first visit to Japan that the attitude of many Japanese Catholics began to change. The Pope at that time said that while he was in Japan, he said that there is nothing divine about war, nothing divine about war, nothing at all. War is entirely the product of human sin. And this, I think, we all can take to heart, that there is nothing about war that is in any way divinely ordained. It means each of us has a role to play in peacemaking. Each of us has a role to play in making peace. As much as we like, God cannot do that for us. So this was the prayer shared by that shared the words of John Paul II when he made that first visit to Japan in 1981. And I want to end my contribution with the words of this prayer. To the creator of nature and man, of truth and beauty, I pray. Hear my voice, for it is the voice of victims of all wars and violence among individuals and nations. Hear my voice, for it is the voice of all children who suffer and will suffer when people put their faith in weapons and war. Hear my voice when I beg you to instill into the hearts of all human beings the wisdom of peace, the strength of justice, and the joy of fellowship. Hear my voice, for I speak to the multitudes of every country and in every period of history who do not walk in the road of peace. Hear my voice and grant insight and strength so that we may always respond to hatred with love, to injustice with total dedication to justice, to need with the sharing of self, to war with peace. O God, hear my voice and grant into this world your everlasting peace. We ask these things in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Breyer.
So Sagarananda-san cannot make it, so let me do a little Buddhist prayer here. Thank you, Chloe, and so much. Oops.
Next, we'll hear from Mr. Nobu Kimoto of Nagasaki Kenjinkai of New York.
Okay.
Yes.
My name is Nobu Kimoto. I serve as the president of the New York Nagasaki Kenjinkai. I have lived in New York for 29 years, but I'm a native of Nagasaki Prefecture and a second-generation atomic bomb survivor. Let me briefly share the story of my father. He was born in Nagasaki and was 12 years old when the atomic bomb was dropped. On August 9th, he was at school. He vividly recalled how the school's window panes shattered and blew out all at once, and how the school playground was filled with rows of victims who were still alive but severely injured. Many of these victims had faces and bodies that were horribly burned. Most were beyond the help of medical treatment. Left exposed to the scorching midsummer sun, the vast majority of them gradually succumbed to their injuries and passed away. Furthermore, the bodies were left abandoned on the school grounds. Before long, a fall stretch began to drift through the air, so no one could even go near it. My father told me that the smell from that time he could never forget. My father, who shared these experiences of the atomic bombing with me, passed away 4 years ago at the age of 89. Humanity must never gain experience at atomic bombing. I believe that our most important mission as second-generation survivors is to pass on the stories we inherited from our parents to the next generation. As one initiative to achieve this, I launched the Nagasaki Peace Planner Forum in Nagasaki 3 years ago, involving the prefecture and the city governments, the business community, universities, and high schools. We all also collaborate with One Young World, which is headquartered in London, described as the Davos by young people. By sending young participants selected through the Nagasaki Peacepreneur Forum to attend the summit organized by One Young World. Peacepreneur is a coined term combining peace and entrepreneur. It embodies the idea that by launching and expanding a business, one connects people and builds professional relationships, ultimately contribute to a peaceful and stable world. I intend to continue this event series to create a platform in Nagasaki that fosters next generation leaders, drives social change, and contribute to peace. I conclude my remarks by pledging to my father that I will continue to advocate for the abolition of nuclear weapons, ensuring that Nagasaki remains the last place on Earth to suffer a nuclear attack. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Kimoto. Next, we'll hear from Mr. Tak Furumoto, who is with the Hiroshima Kai of New York.
Please unmute yourself.
Good evening. My name is Tak Furumoto, a founder of Hiroshima Kai of New York, 1988, and currently an honorary chairman of Hiroshima Kai. Today, unfortunately, our chairman had health problem, is not here today. However, she has been promoting the documentary she made a period of 7 years, promoting the Nobel Peace Prize winner, Setsuko Thoreau, who was a hibakusha at age 12. And this documentary has become very well famous. It is these little things that we must do to propagate peace. My background is I have been a product of war my entire 82 years of my life. Because of the war, our family was imprisoned for 4 years in prison camp in the United States, and I was born there. Because of the war, we had gone back to Hiroshima, Japan, where my grandparents, both my father's side and my mother's side, were victims of atomic bombing. And after we got released from the imprisonment, we had gone back to Hiroshima, Japan. My mother was only 2 miles from the ground zero in a place called Dambara. And my father, this is where we lived for 10 years, lived in Nishihara, in Hiroshima, Japan. Again, we had experienced what war has created. And I have experienced seeing my relative, like my uncle, who was exposed to the atomic bomb, and half his body was burnt. And he could not get married. And so he ultimately ended up marrying another hibakusha. Also attending elementary school Most of my classmates were about 2 years old, and they were a victim of atomic bomb. I still remember the day when we went to see a documentary, third grade, when we saw the film called Hiroshima. And I heard my friend Keiko Endo cry halfway through the movie. And to this day, I was wondering why. And I found out 7 years ago that her father was a victim of an atomic bomb, and she somehow thought he was involved in that movie. So all these things is created by war. And because I was born in this country and we had the draft, I faced Vietnam War, and I came home with PTSD and exposed to Agent Orange. And it's ironic that I was not exposed to atomic bomb, even though my father and my sister had died of a cancer. My father of bone cancer, and my sister of pancreas cancer. Again, these are product of war. Because of these things, for past 33 years, I have been promoting peace, because peace is so priceless. Unless you have gone to the war and faced the cruelty of war, you never appreciate peace. And people always ask, how can we achieve peace? And when President Obama visited Japan in 2016 to pay respect to the hibakushas, I had opportunity to go back to my alma mater, elementary school, 5th and 6th graders, and I was able to lecture war and peace based on my experience of the imprisonment of the Hiroshima of Vietnam War. And at the end, this student, and at that time, they had a class called Heiwa Gakushu. It is a peace class. And every 5th and 6th graders, it was mandatory for them to take this particular class. Anyway, I was asked a question, Mr. Furumoto, how can we achieve peace? Well, that was a very difficult question for me. And I turned the question back to him. And he said, smiling, and put arm around his friend right next to him. Mr. Furumoto, this is what peace is. You make friend with the person next to you. This is precisely what the golden rule is. Love thy neighbor. We must go by this and keep on propagating peace, because leaders today, they have not experienced war. They have not experienced nuclear weapon. And I have. And I believe me, we have to keep on preaching peace, one pebble at a time. I know it is difficult, but this is an opportunity for us to share our feeling about peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Furumoto.
So I don't know.
Okay, if you're ready, we can switch to the live stream.
Yeah, are you able to? Let me see.
Hello everyone, my name is Kano Yasuzuka. I'm 19 years old and I grew up in Hiroshima, Japan. I'm currently attending a music college in Tokyo. Do you know that concerto violin, which still exists in Hiroshima today, that instrument was exposed to the atomic bomb 81 years ago. It at the location 2.5 kilometers from the ground zero.
Sorry. Does it start already, or shall we? Okay, let's.
It didn't start yet.
It's supposed to be 10:45, so maybe we just wait for the ceremony to start. Maybe we can play a little. Play the music. So as you're waiting, we just play some background music, which is actually the first song, like a background music that you heard was the Hibaku violin, so atomic bomb survived violin. And actually in Hiroshima this time, actually Nagasaki too today, both young girls playing the violin together. One from the survived from the Hiroshima, one survived from and one survived from the Holocaust actually. I mean, so there's the kind of connection with there, what you've heard.
Hello everyone, my name is Kano Yasuzuka. I'm 19 years old.
Sorry, so she's playing this is another.
It feels
Oh,
when
so
the
they're gonna
whistle
start now.
spirit
Okay. So it's start now. We can hear the sound. Sound 聞こえてないじゃない。Chris, we can't hear the sound. Okay, let me start from this. Let me turn off the other one.
The newly added lists contain 2,773 names, bringing the total number of victims and those who died in subsequent years to 204,708.
Opening address. Nagasaki City Council Chairman will deliver the opening address. Opening address. Today, with the attendance of Prime Minister Takaichi, distinguished guests, hibakusha, bereaved families, and the people of Nagasaki, I would like to begin the 81st Nagasaki Peace Ceremony by expressing my deepest condolences to all of those lost in the atomic bombing. On this day, 81 years ago, a single atomic bomb was dropped on Nagasaki, taking many precious lives. The hibakusha who narrowly survived this horror were left with deep physical and mental wounds. Even now, they continue to suffer from the after effects of the radiation exposure and from terrible unease about their health. My grandfather lost his life when exposed to the atomic bombing at the Hiroshima National School, where he was working as a teacher. My mother was also exposed to the atomic bomb. From being raised as a second-generation hibakusha, the hibakusha's struggles and wishes for peace set the course of my own life and served as the catalyst for all my life's work. Currently, armed conflicts are continuing around the world, and the international situation surrounding nuclear weapons grows more severe. In addition, this year's Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty Review Conference failed to adopt a final document, as was the case in the previous two conferences. This places the NPT regime, which strives for nuclear disarmament and the non-proliferation of nuclear weapons, into a level of crisis we have never seen before, and has drawn criticism and discouragement from hibakusha organizations here in Nagasaki. Amidst these difficult circumstances, the Nagasaki City Council agreed on resolutions to submit the National Diet and the Cabinet of Japan a written opinion requesting adherence to the 3 non-nuclearization principles and a written opinion requesting observer participants to the first review conference of TPNW in January and June, respectively. In order to ensure that Nagasaki remains the last atomic bombing site, we, the citizens of Nagasaki, will continue tirelessly working towards the realization of an everlasting peaceful world without nuclear weapons, a common wish shared by all of humanity. In closing, I pray that those lost to the atomic bomb may rest in peace, and I pledge to continue my relentless efforts while keeping our mission as an atomic bomb city close in my heart. Iwanaga Toshihiro, Nagasaki City Council Chairman, August 9th, 2026. Water offering. We will now offer water to the spirits of the atomic bomb victims. On that day, 81 years ago, hibakusha, whose bodies were burned to the core of their bodies, passed away, pleading, "Water, water." The holy water to be offered includes water from the inner sanctuary of Anakobo in Ehira, as well as water from Nishimachi, Nishiyama, Mitsuyama, and other locations, water from the north, south, east, and west of Nagasaki City that the victims were desperate for, along with the water from the Fountain of Peace. The offering of the water is conducted by bereaved family representative Hayashibara Kanon, survivor representative Mr. Doi Tomoaki, high school representative Fujimoto Haruka, junior high school representative Ono Ichiha, and elementary school representative Doi Koshin.
献花遺族代表平野正さん、被爆者代表川添忠子さん、
Ms. Kawazue Tadako, representing the Hibakusha, Mayor of Nagasaki City and the Chairman of Nagasaki City Council. We now ask our distinguished guests to offer flowers. Prime Minister of Japan, Ms. Takaichi Sanae. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Mori Eisuke. President of the House of Councilors, Mr. Sekiguchi Masakazu. Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ms. Kunimitsu Ayano, acting on behalf of the Minister for Foreign Affairs. Minister of Health, Labor and Welfare, Mr. Ueno Ken Ichiro. Representative of the Liberal Democratic Party, Mr. Inoue Shinji. Representative of the Japan Innovation Party, Ms. Takagi Kaori. Representative of the Democratic Party for the People, Mr. Tamaki Yuichiro. Representative of the Centrist Reform Alliance, Mr. Ogawa Jr. Representative of the Constitutional Democratic Party of Japan, Mr. Mizuoka Shunichi. Representative of the Party of Do-It-Yourself, Mr. Kamiya Sohei. Representative of the Commemorate, Ms. Takeya Toshiko. Representative of Team Mirai, Mr. Furukawa Aoi. Representative of the Japanese Communist Party, Mr. Koike Akira. Representative of Reiwa Shinsengumi, Mr. Isezaki Kenji. Representative of the Conservative Party of Japan, Mr. Hyakuta Naoki. Representative of the Social Democratic Party, Ms. Fukushima Mizuho. Under Secretary General and High Representative for Disarmament Affairs of the United Nations, Ms. Nakamitsu Izumi. Governor of Nagasaki Prefecture, Mr. Hirata Ken. Speaker of Nagasaki Prefectural Assembly, Mr. Tokunaga Tatsuya. Mayor of the City of Hiroshima, Mr. Matsui Kazumi, Chairperson of Hiroshima City Council, Mr. Hachijo Norihiko, Representative of Hibakusha of Hiroshima, Ms. Nomura Akiko, National Representatives of the Families of Atomic Bomb Victims, Ms. Yoneda Mari and Ms. Matsuyama Michiko, Head of the International Committee of the Red Cross Delegation in Japan, Ms. Hanzawa Shoko, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Kingdom of Morocco to Japan, His Excellency Mr. Rashad Buhra, Representative of the Japan Coalition of Local Authorities for Declaration of Non-Nuclear Weapon Policy and Mayor of the City of Naha, Mr. Chinen Satoru. Next, we invite representatives of the ceremony attendees to offer flowers.
What does that statue represent?
Hmm?
What does that statue represent?
I don't know.
Yes. Clock nears 11:02. Please to rise and join us in a moment of silence to remember the victims of the atomic bombing and to reflect upon our shared hope for eternal peace. A moment of silence, please.
黙祷を終わりま
The
す。
silent prayer
ご着
is
席くだ
over.
さい。
Please be seated. Nagasaki Peace Declaration. The mayor of Nagasaki will deliver the Nagasaki Peace Declaration addressed to the entire world. This declaration will be sent to local governments across Japan, translated into 10 languages, and disseminated worldwide via the internet. Nagasaki Peace Declaration. On August 9, 1945, a single atomic bomb dropped by a U.S. Army Air Force bomber devastated the city of Nagasaki in a moment, with the casualty count amounting to 150,000 or two-thirds of the city's population by the end of that year. The late Mr. Yoshida Katsuji, who was exposed to the atomic bomb at the age of 13, described this hellish tragedy as follows. While I was walking towards the hypocenter, I saw people with their bodies charred and blackened, those with their eyeballs bulging out, those with their internal organs spilling out, and those missing limbs, all wandering around in confusion. When I reached the Urakami River, I saw many people suffering severe burns, dying one after another while drinking the oil and blood-contaminated river water. I myself was completely covered in blood, with my skin peeling off and hanging limply from my body. Although the skin on my face still remained attached, it was burned and charred black. Mr. Yoshida was left with a large scar from the burns on his face for the rest of his life, and he continued to suffer from the stares of those around him. Even those who narrowly escaped death have suffered deep physical and mental wounds, and are forced to live with the worry and fear of the effects of radiation exposure, including the onset of cancer or other diseases. Currently, more than 12,000 nuclear warheads exist on Earth. Why are some countries so obsessed with possessing such brutal weapons? Against the backdrop of mutual distrust, confrontation, and division which permeates the international community, the rule of force has run rampant amongst the major powers. What will happen in the conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East, where nuclear states are involved, still remains unpredictable. Furthermore, trends running counter to nuclear disarmament, including the modernization and enhancement of the nuclear weapons, are accelerating. These factors further fuel a vicious cycle of even greater mutual distrust, confrontation, and division. This is illustrated clearly by the fact that now the three consecutive review conferences of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty have failed to adopt a final document toward nuclear disarmament. Countries that rely on nuclear weapons advocate the theory of nuclear deterrence, arguing that by possessing nuclear weapons, they can deter other countries from attacking them, even if they do not use those weapons. However, in an extreme wartime situation, when urged to make a decision that could determine the very survival of their own nation, who can affirm that they would never press the nuclear button? The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki confronted the world with the reality that humans can cross the line to use nuclear weapons against other humans. The Hibakusha and atomic bomb cities experienced firsthand that the destructive power of nuclear weapons could rip both human life and dignity to shreds. Based on this experience, the Hibakusha and atomic bombing sites affirm with absolute conviction their theory of nuclear deterrence is extremely dangerous and fragile. Nuclear weapons are not a necessary evil, but an absolute evil, and can never coexist with humanity. To all global citizens who share this earth, there is something we can do to create a peaceful world. Peace begins when we empathize with other people's pain. This is what Mr. Yoshida used to say every time he shared with others his experience surviving the atomic bombing. Empathizing with the perspective and suffering of others and trying to understand one another are a significant step towards avoiding confrontation and conflict. It serves as a foundation for fostering trust and building friendships both between people and between countries. Let us take Mr. Yoshida's words to heart and put them into action. To all the national leaders of the world, please act with urgency to restore multilateralism and the rule of law in accordance with the values of the United Nations Charter. Please return to the United Nations founding spirit of protecting human dignity and fundamental human rights, as well as achieving lasting peace and shared prosperity of all humanity through international cooperation. To all leaders of the nuclear states and the nations relying on the nuclear deterrence, you must face the reality that the more you rely on nuclear deterrence, the more you increase the risk of nuclear war. I strongly urge you to fulfill your obligations. In particular, the Japanese government must attend the first review conference of the Treaty on the Prohibition of the Nuclear Weapons to be held later this year and fulfill its historical responsibility as only country to have suffered atomic bombs in war. I call on the government to uphold the ethos of peace enshrined in the Japanese constitution, which embodies a determination to forever renounce war, as well as the country's 3 non-nuclear principles. In addition, I call for the strengthening of diplomatic efforts towards disarmament and the easing of the tension in the international community. And I also request that the government shift to a security policy that does not rely on nuclear weapons through such measures as realizing the Northeast Asia nuclear weapon-free zones. Furthermore, I strongly urge the Japanese government to provide enhanced support for the Hibakusha, whose average age now exceeds 86, and offer relief as soon as possible to those who experienced the atomic bombing but have not yet been officially recognized as Hibakusha. I would like to express my deep sorrow for all those who lost their lives in the atomic bombings and all the victims of war. We are now in a critical moment where we can still listen directly to the voices of Hibakusha. Therefore, we are determined to hand down the memories of the atomic bombings and the thoughts of Hibakusha to future generations. Nagasaki must remain the last atomic bombing site. In order to turn this resolve into an eternal reality, I hereby declare that Nagasaki will work in solidarity with the peace seekers of the world to persevere in our movement towards the total abolition of nuclear weapons and the realization of everlasting world peace. Suzuki Shiro, Mayor of Nagasaki, August 9th, 2026.
Pledge for Peace made by Ms. Motomura Chiyoko, representative of the Hibakusha. Pledge for Peace. Today, 81 years since the atomic bombing, marks a transition period in history. The era without a single Hibakusha, such as myself, has drawn very close. At 11:02 a.m., August 9, 1945, I experienced that tremendous flash of light and blast at just small 6-year-old child, having just entered the first grade of national school. I was living in a Koego, Fukura village around 4.5 kilometers from the hypocenter. That day, my mother, grandfather, and aunt were out working in the rice field, and my grandmother was at home preparing.
Suppose. Oh, okay. Now she's talking again.
In lunch in the earthen floor kitchen. I was playing alone on the porch when a huge, strange ball of fire exploded right before my eyes. In that instant, our home collapsed, the glass sliding doors toppled over, and with an enormous sound, my small body was thrown into the garden. Curled into a ball, I was protected by my grandmother, who rushed over and laid herself on top of me. Before I could tell what had happened, she laid me in her arms and took me to the air raid shelter. The strange ball of fire, the roaring sound, the blast, and the silence that followed, it was seared into my young mind. When my mother and family returned a while later, I learned that an atomic bomb was dropped on Nagasaki. After the bombing, our seaside village saw nearly unending fire, cremating the deceased, and meager funerals conducted for them almost as a formality. My grandmother, who suffered severe wounds on her back when she rushed to protect me,
passed away that next March. She had never received proper treatment and was unable to rest lying on her back. These are my distant yet vivid memories from when I was 6 years old. 81 years have passed since that day. This hill we stand on in Urakami turned into a charred, inanimate wasteland by the atomic bomb has seen an incredible revival. At first glance, it is a peaceful view, but what about the rest of the world? Seemingly every day in the newspapers and on television, I see news about conflicts around the world. War between Russia and Ukraine shows no sign of ending. Do the leaders of these nations not see the faces of those struggling each day to survive? Do they not see the wandering, barefoot, crying young children? Are my memories of the atomic bombing, this cross I have been given to bear for 81 years in exchange for the life of my grandmother, merely an old story? Last December, I traveled around the United States for 14 days, occasionally relying on a wheelchair to visit sites such as the Los Alamos National Laboratory. After building up a dialogue with one of the guides on that visit, he strongly conveyed to me that there is not a single person working there who does not wish for peace. In response to this, all I could say to him was to please and never use nuclear energy as a weapon. This conversation reminded me that the only way we as human beings can truly understand each other is through dialogue. Another place I visited on this trip was the Pearl Harbor. As I looked out over those calm waters, I kept wondering why that war had to happen and why so many lives had to be lost. I believe that peace means to protect life, and that life should be protected above all else. I will spend the rest of my life continuing to raise my voice for peace and pray that war shall never occur again. This is my pledge to all the souls resting on this hill, lost in an instant to the atomic bomb. Motomura Chiyoko, representative of the Hibakusha, August 9th, 2026.
And most of the teachers and students fell victim to the bombing. Elementary School.
song familiar to you? What are they singing? Oh, aren't they singing Japanese? You understand more than I do.
No clue. Listen.
I wonder. He came to Hiroshima too. Oh, it's a she. Do you want to see if I can make the picture bigger or no? You want to see if I can make the picture bigger?
That's all right.
Just leave it like that, huh?
We will now receive addresses from our
I guess
distinguished
it's not
guest,
easy to do Zoom, huh?
Prime Minister of Japan, Ms. Sanae. Lives of the people here were suddenly destroyed. Their time with families and all their hopes for the future were stolen away. Even those who narrowly survived were left to endure days of an unbearable ordeal. As the Prime Minister, here in Nagasaki, I respectfully offer my sincerest condolences to the souls of those sacrificed to the atomic bomb. And I also extend my heartfelt sympathy to the survivors who are still suffering from after effects. Seeing the city once turned to ashes, so beautifully rebuilt today, we are strongly reminded of the untiring efforts made by the citizens and the preciousness of peace. The calamities that struck Nagasaki and Hiroshima 81 years ago must never be repeated. Japan firmly upholds the three non-nuclear principles, recognizing our mission as the only nation to suffer atomic bombings in war and under the vow to make Nagasaki the last atomic bomb site. We are advancing realistic and practical initiatives to bring about a world free of nuclear weapons. Recently, the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty NPT Review Conference took place under a severe international security environment. However, Japan conveyed the wishes of the atomic-bombed cities and called for solidarity among all nations in maintaining and strengthening the NPT framework. We will remain determined to make step-by-step efforts steadily under the Hiroshima Action Plan. It is more important than ever to foster an accurate understanding of the realities of the atomic bombings across the world. We will continue to urge global leaders and future generations to visit the atomic bombed sites. By having them witness the realities firsthand, we are determined to hand down the memory of the devastation caused by the use of nuclear weapons. As many years have passed since the atomic bombings, and hibakushas are growing older and older, we will address their diversifying challenges and continue to provide comprehensive relief measures promoting health, medical care, and welfare. In particular, regarding the recognition of the atomic bomb-related diseases, we will make every effort to expedite screenings in order to convey the results to the survivors as soon as possible. For those who experienced atomic bombings but have not yet been officially recognized as hibakusha, we will also steadily implement medical expense subsidies equivalent to those given to recognize the survivors. I am told that in this city stands a tree that survived the bombing on that day 81 years ago. Even with its trunk burned and branches broken by the intense blast and heat, it remained deeply rooted in the earth and sprouted fresh green leaves once again. It must have brought a ray of hope in the hearts of the people enduring deep sorrow and suffering beyond description. This tree exactly mirrors the people of Nagasaki who have miraculously made a remarkable recovery from the ruins. Thanks to the tireless efforts of its citizens, Nagasaki was reborn as the international city of culture we see today. Here in Nagasaki, I pledge to do my utmost towards achieving a world without nuclear weapons and everlasting peace. I wish to conclude by praying for the repose of the souls of all atomic bomb victims and for the inner peace of the bereaved families, hibakusha, and today's attendees, as well as the people of Nagasaki. August 9th, 2026. Prime Minister Takaichi Sanae.
Under Secretary General and High Representative for Disarmament Affairs of the United Nations, Ms. Nakamitsu Izumi. And I'm honored to read the Secretary General's message to the Nagasaki Peace Ceremony in Japanese. 81 years ago, Nagasaki became a symbol of humanity's capacity for destruction. Each year on this day, we remember those whose lives were lost. We pay tribute to the generations who rebuilt this city, turning tragedy into triumph. And we honor the hibakusha, who transformed unimaginable suffering into an unstoppable moral force, reminding the world of what must never be repeated. Their message of resilience, reconciliation, and hope endures.
So it's not mine?
And always will.
It's about that white square. Oh, I see. I just unplugged the cord.
I was deeply honored to be the first UN Secretary General to visit Nagasaki for this important commemoration in 2018. I strongly believe that the world needs to remember what happened here, especially today. We are living through a period of profound geopolitical strain. Trust is eroding. Norms that have helped prevent catastrophe are being tested. The decade-long trend in nuclear arsenal reduction is reversing. The global norm against nuclear testing is under threat. Worldwide military spending jumped to $2.9 trillion in 2025, and nuclear sabers are being rattled once more. Year by year, the risk of miscalculation, escalation, and conflict keeps growing up. This is unacceptable. Humanity should not have to live under permanent threat. History reminds us that even in moments of deep rivalry, cooperation can prevail and progress is possible. But progress requires political will. It requires leadership. It requires recognition that our security is interdependent, that nuclear weapons only fuel uncertainty, and it requires heeding the lessons forged here in Nagasaki about the true horror of nuclear war. The path to a peaceful future is built by strengthening trust and predictability. By investing in the tools of peace, dialogue, diplomacy, and collaboration, not the weapons of war. By all states, especially those possessing nuclear weapons, taking steps to reduce risks and advance towards total disarmament. And by recommitting to the global disarmament regime, which has, for decades, prevented a nuclear catastrophe. Together, we can ensure that the future is not defined by rivalry and risk, but by cooperation and stability. Nagasaki stands today as both a warning and a guide. It calls on us to act, not just to remember.
When
And
you
it calls
spoke
on
that
us
your
to
face was not
rebuild
on.
trust, strengthen cooperation, and choose diplomacy over division. Guided by the remarkable example of the people of Nagasaki across the decades,
Probably
let us
better not
all
see my
commit
face
to
here.
building a world
Well,
where
I could
peace
change
is
into my
sustained
pajamas
not
now?
by fear,
No, not
but by
yet.
shared purpose. And on this 81st anniversary, let us
Thank
honor
you.
the
How about that
bravery
singing?
of the
Oh, okay.
Hibakusha, not only with our words, but with our actions. The United Nations will always be your proud partner in this essential effort. Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, August 9th, 2026.
Everybody had a glum face. Yeah.
Governor of Nagasaki Prefecture, Mr. Hirata Ken.
長崎県平田健様
Must be a governor. Yeah, he is.
On the occasion of the Nagasaki Peace Ceremony for the victims of the atomic bombing, I join the people of Nagasaki in respectfully offering my sincere condolences to the spirits of all who perished. On August 9th, 1945, an atomic bomb detonated above this sky. The intense heat and blast wave destroyed Nagasaki in an instant, claiming the lives of as many as 74,000 precious souls. 81 years have passed since that day. Thanks to the tireless efforts of the survivors and the support of many, the city, once reduced to ashes, has been rebuilt as a vibrant, beautiful city dedicated to peace. However, the Hibakusha continued to bear scars in body and mind that can never truly heal. Nagasaki, through its history and experience, holds a solemn duty to pass on the reality of the atomic bombing. Yet, as the Hibakusha age, opportunities to listen directly to their voices grow fewer and fewer with each passing year. We must nurture the next generation to faithfully inherit these
I wonder if
truths
Seuss has ever been
and
to one of
carry
these
forward
ceremonies.
our efforts
Do you
towards
think
the
that
total abolition of nuclear
Seuss has
weapons.
been to one of these Nagasaki
Looking
ceremonies?
across the globe, conflicts continue to erupt in various regions. Amid rising global tensions, the situation surrounding nuclear arms is deteriorating. Beyond the expansion of nuclear stockpiles, the enhancement of nuclear capabilities through emerging technologies like AI poses grave new concerns. Furthermore, the failure of this year's NPT review conference to adopt a final document for the third consecutive time, it is deeply regrettable. This persistent lack of international consensus threatens not only nuclear disarmament, but the very foundation of the nuclear non-proliferation regime. That is precisely why, at this critical juncture, all nations must unequivocally reaffirm that nuclear weapons must never be used again. Nuclear arms and non-nuclear armed states alike must engage in constructive dialogue and take concrete, steady steps toward nuclear abolition. To that end, I earnestly hope that all those attending this ceremony, as well as world leaders, will visit the sites of the atomic bombings in person, sincerely confront the reality of the bombings, and come to fully grasp their gravity. I call upon the Japanese government, especially in an era of profound geopolitical shift, to lead the international community as the only nation to have suffered atomic bombings in wartime, and to spare no effort towards the abolition of nuclear weapons while steadfastly upholding the three non-nuclear principles. Furthermore, here in Nagasaki, many survivors have yet to be officially recognized as Hibakusha. Why are those who were exposed to black rain in Hiroshima granted official recognition, while those who endured the exact same circumstances in Nagasaki are denied it? I urge the Japanese government to heed their earnest pleas and extend immediate relief to these remaining victims. In closing, I pray for the eternal rest of all who fell victim to the atomic bomb. I solemnly pledge to continue working tirelessly toward a world free of nuclear weapons, offering these words as a humble tribute to their memory. Hirata Ken, Governor of Nagasaki Prefecture, August 9th, 2026. Telegrams and messages received from all sources are posted on the board on the right side of the entrance of the venue. So we invite you to take a look at them.
This is a chorus of Senbazuru, 1,000 paper cranes. This song was created as a commemorative choral piece for the 50th anniversary of the atomic bombing. The lyrics were solicited from all over the country, and the chosen piece was written by Miss Kanae Yokoyama from Chiba Prefecture. The music was composed by Miss Michiru Oshima, a composer from Nagasaki City. Today, it will be sung by the students of Junshin Girls High School, the alma mater of Miss Michiru Oshima. The conductor is their teacher, Kiora Tanigawa, and the accompanist is Mr. Makoto Uchida, who has been performing the music in accordance with the progression of today's ceremony.
Taking today's Nagasaki Peace Declaration as the collective wish of the citizens of Nagasaki, we will strive with renewed determination towards the realization of everlasting world peace. To all the attendees, thank you very much for your cooperation in ensuring smooth proceedings of this ceremony. This concludes the 81st Nagasaki Peace Memorial Ceremony. Thank you. For those who wish to offer prayers at the peace statue, please remain seated.
The venue preparations are complete. And for those who will be leaving, we will guide you in order as soon as the path to the exit has been cleared, so please remain seated until then. To our distinguished guests, our staff will guide you, so please remain seated for a while. Thank you very much for your cooperation.
平和記念像前でご参拝される皆様は、会場の準備。
Hello, Chris. Are you able to introduce the movie now?
Yes, hold on, please. Next is a short video called An Atomic Bomb Survivor's Story. Let me read a few words from the filmmaker, Shizumi Shigeto Manale. He wrote, "My message is simple. True peace begins with respecting every human life. It means creating a world where our children and grandchildren can live in safety, dignity, and hope. I believe that we must start with understanding. Together with my American husband, Andy Manale, I co-produced a documentary about Nagasaki atomic bomb survivor Sumitero Taniguchi. At the age of 17, he survived the atomic bombing despite suffering serious injuries with burns across his back. He then devoted the rest of his life to advocating for the abolition of nuclear weapons. Many people around the world are unaware that Nagasaki was home to a large Christian community. In the wake of the atomic bombing, survivors carrying both profound sorrow and unwavering hope turned to prayer. Those prayers came to symbolize the enduring strength of the people of Nagasaki, their faith, which remained unshaken even in the face of unimaginable tragedy, and their heartfelt longing for peace. Here is his film.
Yeah, thank you. 3つ目ですね。So, yeah, first of all, sorry about little technical difficulties. However, we'll be ready to share the movie and others. はい、じゃあよろしく。
As the war between Russia and Ukraine intensifies, the possibility that nuclear weapons will actually be used by the world's largest nuclear powers becomes ever more real. 77 years ago, at the end of World War II, 2 atomic bombs were dropped on populous cities in Japan. Hiroshima was first, then came
おかしい。
As the war between Russia and Ukraine intensifies, the possibility that nuclear weapons will actually be used by the world's largest nuclear powers becomes ever more real. 77 years ago, at the end of World War II, 2 atomic bombs were dropped on populous cities in Japan. Hiroshima was first, then came Nagasaki 3 days later. If people know anything about the bomb, they've heard of Hiroshima. Nagasaki is less well known. In Nagasaki, the bomb was dropped on a district called Urakami, the largest Catholic community in Japan, dating back to the 16th century. While on a trip to Japan in 2017, Shizumi and I met Sumiteru Taniguchi, whose experience with the atomic bomb was chronicled in Life magazine many decades ago. As a young mailman of 16, Sumiteru fell victim to the heat, blast, and radiation while delivering mail in Urakami. Incredibly, he survived, but his story illustrates the unseen and inconceivable aftermath of the bombing. Regardless of the causes of that war, human beings who are now our friends and allies still live with the consequences. The story of this one hibakusha, the Japanese word for A-bomb survivor, tells us emphatically that the bomb should never be used again. It's a parable for Ukraine and for all of us. From this point on, I'll be reading Taniguchi's own story. The damage was done in a split second. Blown by the blast, I came to consciousness feeling as if I were being burned in a fire. My body ached as if I'd been beaten all over. The next time I came to, I found myself lying in the hospital receiving treatment. I was severely burnt. I couldn't speak. Nor, despite my wishes, could I die. I lay in a hospital bed with my wounds and pain worsening. I didn't even have the strength to kill myself, though I yearned for months, even years, to do so. Rather than fighting to live, I prayed I would die. All I wanted was to free myself from the pain. I lacked energy. I felt groggy. Against my wishes, I was forced to live. I was forced to live by a drug called penicillin, which was being studied at Nagasaki University Hospital. As I found out long after my recovery, penicillin was still in development at that time. In 1943, the Japanese Army Medical College learned of its existence from a medical journal in Nazi Germany. In 1944, it was successfully produced in small quantities. It was named Hekiso in Japan and was administered to only a few patients. Though I had no idea that such a valuable drug was being used on me, I miraculously survived the living hell of a human guinea pig. Looking back, I feel honored by the fact that the experiment I was in saved many lives later. It's unfortunate the war ended before its mass production. I'm sure it could have saved many who died. I was still at the hospital wishing to die when an American doctor came with a news photographer. They took a picture of me lying on my face, severely burned and totally immobile. "Stop! Stop! Let me die!" I cried out in my heart, but I could get no voice out. The precious drug displayed its positive effects day by day. Gradually, but only after several months, the pain lessened. My consciousness returned to something approximating normal. I found myself able to speak, but no louder than a mosquito. At this point, for the first time, I was grateful to be alive. I began hoping I would survive. I prayed silently that something good would happen to me. I was eventually transferred to a naval hospital, but not until March 20, 1949. It was 3 years and 7 months after the bombing that I was finally discharged. Even then, I was not completely recovered. I continued to receive frequent skin graft surgeries and other treatments. It was during that series of treatments that I decided to work for the abolition of nuclear weapons. I decided to tell my story as a victim of the bomb. Thanks to advanced medical care, I eventually recovered from burns that covered my entire back, but the cruel scars remained deeply etched in my skin. It took several years to achieve normal bodily functions. Still, at the age of 27, I got married, which led to children. I was worried about the genetic effects of radiation, so I was more than happy to watch my children grow up healthy. As a severely damaged A-bomb survivor, my entire life since then has been a medical experiment. However, I've found great meaning dedicating myself to promoting a nuclear weapon-free world. I'm grateful for the joy I experience just living independently, and for the miracle of sharing this independent life with my wife and family. The picture of my A-bomb burn was featured in a series of Time magazine articles, attracting attention from all over the world. After that, I received frequent requests for interviews. In each case, I accepted with a sense of mission. In 2010, I was invited to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty Review Conference in New York. I spoke at UN headquarters with the Secretary General on the topic of nuclear war. I was honored by this opportunity to speak against nuclear war and for world peace in a global forum. That concludes Mr. Taniguchi's story. After he retired, he was elected president of the Nagasaki Atomic Bomb Survivors Council and participated in numerous peace conferences. When Shizumi and I met with Mr. Taniguchi, he was undergoing treatment for cancer. It was physically difficult for him to meet us, but he graciously accepted our interview request. We did not expect that interview in the winter of 2017 to be our last, but he passed away that summer at the age of 88. We pray for Mr. Taniguchi's soul and will always be grateful that he allowed us to interview him.
thank you so much. And next we'll have, actually, this is a film for the Hibakusha, all together singing a song. So in a way, we're hearing the voice of Genbaku Yurusumaji. And so it was happening, this particular video is walking with the Hibakusha leading to the New York City during the time of NPT conference, conference in New York. And so the day before, people gather, and then the Hibakusha from Nagasaki also leading to this singing. So maybe we can start and then get the energy of the walk for peace.
We actually are going to be singing a song with our Japanese friends and allies called Never Again Atomic Bombs. And before we hear that song in Japanese, I'm going to share the English translation. Our hometown was burned to the ground. We laid our family in the scorched earth. Now white flowers bloom. Never again atomic bombs. Never again another use of atomic bombs. Not in our town. Affected ocean in our hometown. Black rain. No joyous days. Empty boats. Never again atomic bombs. Never again another use of atomic bombs. Not in our ocean. A somber sky looms over our hometown. Dark clouds covering the land again, blocking out the sun. Never again atomic bombs. Never again another use of atomic bombs. Not in our sky. Our fellow victims have departed. The wealth and happiness that we worked so hard for. Everything was destroyed. Never again atomic bombs. Never again another use of atomic bombs. Not in the world. And now we will hear the original Japanese lyrics. これから原爆を許すまじの歌の披露をします。こっち向けばはい。ふるさとの町焼かれ、身寄りの骨埋めし焼け土に、今は白い花き継ぎ上ぐ人たち 間でした。ありがとうございました。And all the seats we have here.
So this was happened 2 months ago, June 26 in New York City. So yeah, that's something that people try to still do a lot of work for against nuclear weapons and making this world peaceful without the nuclear weapons. So now also would like to share the Hewa Foundation. Last year we had the organized the trip to Japan during this time. So we attended the 81st anniversary, 80th anniversary of the last year. And so that one of the part that we wanted to share also what we happened when we were in Japan, and we did have a peace walk from the staff from the church. This is in Hiroshima actually. Hiroshima is one of the church, and then go to the the Shinto shrine, and then go to the temple. Then in the end we float the lanterns. And so during those time, we have team of peace team, which include, of course, myself, Shinji Harada-san, and so he will be playing the music. And so maybe this happened in Hiroshima last year, and hopefully this walk should be continued. Thank you.
Please have the courage to stop killing and violence. Once again, to the leaders of the countries and the organization at the time of the conflict, please listen to the message from Hiroshima, which knows the suffering of hell. Stop the killings and the violence, and the world will praise you. Deep in our hearts, we all want a tomorrow without killing and violence, and with smiles on children's faces. I beg you to stay calm and break the cycle of resentment and hatred in our generation. Then the world and happy world will surely begin from tomorrow. Let us adults take action now. Please stop the killing and violence immediately. War and peace. Come on, let's let's work for peace. World peace. Let's walk towards peace. 平和平和諦めない世界平和平和さあ上を向いて中の星が黒い雲に覆われてる人が互いに憎み合うきっと心の闇のせい大地を飾る花たちはいつも笑顔くれるのに森の中で鳥たちは生きる喜び歌うのにさあ行きますよWorld peace Come on let's walk for peace World peace Let's walk toward peace 平和平和つなごう世界平和に一緒平和歌いながら行こう笑顔で進もうだけを信じて進もう明日をさに青く綺麗な星のために7つの色の虹のよう雨上がりの大空に世界中の人たちで作ろう心の架け橋希望の街で私たちは違いを優しく語ろうそれを明日笑顔になり必ず心をつなぎ合いLet's walk for peace. World peace. Let's walk towards peace. 平和平和諦めない世界平和平和さあ上を向いて壁を上げるさ夢を信じる強い思いみんなの笑顔を守り勇気を出して手をつなぐ青く綺麗な星のために World peace Come on let's walk for peace World peace Let's walk towards peace 平和平和つなごう世界平和に一緒平和歌いながら行こう笑顔で進むわけだWorld peace, come on, let's walk for peace. World peace, let's walk towards peace. 平和、平和、諦めない世界平和、平和、さあ上を向いて、声を上げるさ、声を上げる。
Thank you very much. So, Shinji Harada-san is actually he's also the member of the Heiwa Foundation, board member, and he's Hiroshima Peace Culture Ambassador, and so that was wonderful to have his energy, and we all together walk last year, and then continue for this energy to the to the future as well. So things comes towards the end, but I just wanted to share with you some of the thoughts that I have, and it is actually quite experience to have internet kind of program. It's always have some accident happens, but yet so that's a real part of the life. So we all have we maybe even life we plan, but we never know what happened to the life. So how you deal with the life, and then it's probably is a very important one. So when we have a trouble, then you have a trouble, so you have to deal with it. And I guess the time for the nuclear weapons the same way. We don't need to have this situation happen, but yet even like Hiroshima happened, Nagasaki happened, and then even now, as many speakers mentioned about the unstable part of the world, but so we need to basically deal with, and we can't plan anything possibly, but then yet we have some plan to do, or at least we have keeping the wish or hope for peace is actually the most important one. So as long as we have that, and then we can keep doing it, and then maybe the form will be different, but yet we can continue. So those spirit of peace, it's always peace in our mind, and peace comes first. Then that should be okay, I guess, somehow. But so it is wonderful to have such people also thinking of the peace and try to find the others' happiness. I think in terms of Buddhist point, the thinking of others' happiness, which is compassion, is probably the most important essential part of the Buddhism. But also understanding, which bringing the wisdom. So wisdom and compassion is a very, very important fundamental part of the in a way peace in our life, peace in our mind, peace in our world. So and then today, so that's actually I'd like to share as a beginning, as I mentioned, where you always have a base, and so, and then always peace begin with me. So every day we should be practicing peace, and so so no matter what happened to the world, at least each of us should keep us practice peace, building peace within ourselves. So at least that we can do. We may not be able to change the world, but then yet I think we can change the world that way too. More people have always considered that peace comes first, other people's happiness first even, and so thinking of others, so the understanding others. So these are something very essential that we should keep in our mind, and we keep moving, keep walking. And this is one of the messages through the video that I share. People not just talking, but people walking towards the peace, and then do the best that we can do, that we can. Okay. So, and then lastly, I would like to conclude today's session of this program for Nagasaki Day. And I appreciate very much for those people who are patiently listening, joining us together today, and it is actually very wonderful. And today it was actually a lot of noise came, telephone ring and so forth. But one of the noise that I heard was from this where I am now. I'm actually in Osaka, near the temple, and then one of the announcement, the little announcer, I think a bus or something, they just announced with a microphone saying, we are going to be 11:02 soon, which is Nagasaki Day. So they ask people to have a moment of silence. And so in a little town here, they're announcing that. So which is very wonderful. Little things, but makes me really happy. And I think so little efforts can possibly affect to the people. So then, so since we didn't have a brief prayer part in a beginning, so I just include the short chanting of the prayer from the Buddhist point. So please join me, Gasho. Place your palms together and bow your head. むつごあなんごうじゅじょじょひこくしゃかいしずじゅおじょじょじじゅしょいしゃがひぶごくじゅむじょじゃじゅぎゅぶじょじゃ十方五者小仏如来外具三段無量寿仏異人具徳不可思議小宇宙上文語名語人人関係内視知念四神栄光願生非国族徳王女十部大伝唯上五逆秘宝消防ナモ阿弥陀ムナモ観世音菩薩ナモ大勢心菩薩ナモ少女大海衆菩薩願に宿毒平等性一切同発菩提心往生安楽公願わくはこの功徳をもって平等に一切に施し同じ広大心を起こして安楽国に往生せん南無帰依仏南無帰依法南無帰依僧 May all beings be happy, well and peaceful. May we all be free from suffering. May we all be free from pain. May we all be free from attachment, from greed, anger, and ignorance. May we all attain ultimate happiness and peace of enlightenment through the guidance of Buddha's wisdom and compassion. And peace to you all, and no more Hiroshima, no more Nagasaki's, no more hibakshas, no more wars. Peace to you all. ありがとうございました。Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who joined us tonight. Thank you, Reverend Nagasaki, and the leaders who spoke tonight. If you're interested in supporting Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation, please visit our website. Thank you and good day.
Thank you, everyone, to join us. Thank you.